Hey there, Shira Entrepreneur. Thanks for joining me. In this video today, I want to share with you a strategy that I call Zero Dark 90. And I'm going to share with you why I shut down my business for 90 days and why you might want to consider doing the same. So, you might be thinking, oh my God, I can't afford to shut down my business, right? So I just wanted to kind of take this opportunity to share with you. This is like when I'm but at the time that I'm shooting this is the beginning of the year, and there's a lot of kind of newness happening. Of course, that happens around the beginning of the year. We're reviewing things, we're reevaluating things so that we can start the year off right. And I don't do resolutions. I usually start my kind of reevaluation somewhere around the beginning of October. And so this year has been interesting for me. I was divorced at the beginning of the year, and there was kind of a big transition that had to happen to reestablish myself, kind of find myself again, figure some things out, get the kids kind of comfortable in their new reality. And so there was a lot of stuff happening and a lot of emotional stuff and just a lot of regrouping. And it took me most of the year just to kind of find my bearings. Um, and it really took me, I would say, till about October to really start to feel like, okay, I'm feeling good about where I am. Let me try to, create some momentum and establish some solid things for my life. And but what happened for me, and I know this is something that's common for a lot of people, is that when you're trying to provide for yourself and you're also trying to create a life that you want, sometimes those two can kind of bump heads. And for me, that's what was happening. I was trying to get my business to a certain place where I was making a certain income. I was trying to get my kids together and my personal life together. And it wasn't quite going the way that I wanted. And so I had to take a drastic step. Now, I have done this before. This is actually a practice that I've done a lot, which is kind of shutting things down when it's not going the way that I want it to. But this time was a little bit different. It actually became different. I didn't know that it was going to become what it became. So, first of all, what I first had to do was give myself permission to shut down. Um, a lot of times, just the idea of shutting down everything, especially if you've kind of been trying your hardest to stay visible on social media. Maybe you've been blogging a little bit. Maybe you've been doing some other things. Maybe, some of you may have been doing it a little bit more consistently than others. But this kind of myth comes up that says, if I disappear, then I'll lose all the traction that I've got. People will miss me or they won't take me seriously if I disappear. So that was one of the first hurdles I had to overcome. And what I found was, I mean, if you are showing up, half showing up, if not, you're not sure of how you want to show up, if you don't have a strategy for showing up, if you don't know what your efforts are actually supposed to map back to, then it really makes no difference whether you show up or not because you're really just a part of the noise. You're a part of the problem and not the solution. So it's not really helping you to be visible when that visibility is not actually equaling profitability or peace of mind in your life and business. So that was number one, giving myself permission. And once I gave myself permission, then the next thing that I had to do was get my mind right. Right? My mind was a mess. Going through divorce, trying to reestablish myself, different things coming up, rediscovering my value or discovering it for the first time in some instances. So I had to go through all of that. And so one of the first things I had to do was get my mind right because, you know, when you're going through a lot of changes, and you're tired and you're not focused, depression can be one of those things that rears its ugly head. And so that was something that I was dealing with on and off, and I needed to get a handle on that. So I needed to strengthen my mind. The next thing that I needed to do was get my family right. My boys were, my boys are pretty happy boys. You may have seen pictures of them. They're, pretty resilient. Children can be. But, they're experiencing a lot of change, and kids don't really know what to do with that. And so I was experiencing some challenges with them that I knew that I had to get a handle on. So I need, and, being self-employed or being in business for yourself gives you the freedom, or it should, to put your family first, right? And so I've developed this kind of mindset that your life is your business, so your business should improve your life. Your life comes first. And so my children come first. And so everything else I decided and committed to building everything around them. And so the next thing that I needed to do was I needed a strategy. So I knew I needed to get my mind right so that I can get my body right, so that I can get my family right. And I needed a new way to do it because the old way that I was doing things just wasn't working. And so I decided to put a halt to everything for 90 days and just to give myself that time to regroup, reevaluate, discover what my options were. And it was a little scary of a decision at first, let me tell you, because you still have to figure out how to make money, right? And we're so used to trying to make that happen, it can be very scary to let go. But this was for me a divine and energetic thing. Like I had to let go and let my faith work, let God do his thing. And while he gave me the grace and the space to set things up in the way that he divinely ordered. So I took that time, and it was a little bit nervous at first, but God provided. He provided the income that I needed to get through that particular period of time. And I was able to rest and allow the answers to come to me, and they did in a very, very big way. And so while the goal ultimately is to make more money, to generate more income, for me, and you might hear me say this a lot going forward, for me, the goal is to free yourself to do more of the stuff you love, live the life you want, and make the money that you deserve. So it's not just about money. And the goal is to generate more income, but in a more leveraged way, in a way that doesn't require more time, because that was one of my biggest challenges. My time, I felt like there were not enough hours in the day. You know what I mean? Like, have you ever felt like that? Like, I know we have 24 hours in a day, but I need more. Where can I find more? So that was where I was. And so the answers began to come to me, and something amazing happened. And I'll have to tell you the story about what the revelation was that triggered all of this later. But I want to share with you 3 things that I did that came up in the form of this new strategy that will allow me to achieve my goals of mastering my mind, getting my family together, and ultimately creating the life and business that will allow me to serve others while not sacrificing or hurting myself. So the first thing that I needed to do was I needed to get committed to setting goals. Now, beginning of the year, you always hear people setting new goals, resolutions, and all of that. I've bought books on it. I've read articles on it. I've watched some videos through the course of my life about goal setting. But for whatever reason, it just never clicked. But the seed was there, but it never clicked. And so I decided to kind of revisit some of the goal setting resources that I had, and I found a book by Darren Hardy of Success Magazine, The Compound Effect. So I started pouring through that, and it really kind of like the light bulb was just going off. I was like, yes, this is what I need. I need to set goals, but how do you do that? So I just decided right then and there, I'm going to get good at setting goals. I'm going to learn how to do this. Just like I taught myself how to build websites, just how I taught myself how to do marketing content, just like I taught myself how to do whatever it is that I'm doing to generate money now, I'm going to teach myself how to build goals. I'm going to read things about goal setting. I'm going to study it until I figure it out. And then the second thing that I did was I made goal setting a family affair. This was a huge breakthrough for me because at first I was just thinking like, oh, well, while my kids are hanging out with their dad, I'll sit down and I'll do my goals and I'll write things out and figure it out. But something happened, which I'll tell you at another day because I don't want this video to become an hour long. Something happened that really shifted my mind around goal setting. And I thought, I had the revelation, why am I just keeping this to myself? This is a valuable tool that I can teach my boys, right? I mean, if they master the art and skill of setting goals and routines and rhythms when they're young, then they're automatically programmed for success, right? It's better than money. So I started doing that with them, and we started out setting routines, and we went to the dollar store and bought a bunch of stuff on goals, to make our goals and make it fun. And every day I aim to teach them something that I learned about how to achieve what you want and the person that you need to be in order to get what you want. And so that was the second thing I did, made goal setting a family affair. And then finally, the thing is like, okay, well, I got all these goals. I got all these things that I want to do. I want to do it with the kids. That's great. But it's one thing to set the goal and write it down. And I've done that in the past. What's going to make this time different? What's going to make this new direction, this new commitment, this new strategy work? And after some research and study, and I realized I needed to make my goals habits. I needed to turn my habits into routines. And so I started to build routines just on a very basic level, routines for my life around the house. And I know some of you are whizzes, my Shiro entrepreneurs that have, their houses running, their home life. You have your home life running like clockwork. I commend you. I wish I would have discovered this a long time ago. But as a creative, all my life I've rebelled against structure. Structure was so restrictive and I wanted to be free. But now I realize that it's in that structure that you find your freedom for your life and your business. And I'll share with you in some other videos how powerful this can be for getting stuff done in your business, even when it's just you running your business and you're a solo operation. But I digress. Let me get back to the point. Habits. So one of the cool things that I did with my kids is we watched, these little videos online, and I found a video series on YouTube called Cashville Kids, and we sat and watched. And one episode was really cool. It was called the Be Do Have Principle. And in the cartoon and the video, they walk the kids through like this story of applying the principle of be, do, have, being who you need to be and doing the things you need to do in order to have the things that you want to have in that order. And it was such a powerful lesson for the kids, but it was such a powerful revelation for me because I had these goals. But then it was like, okay, let's look at what you're doing. Are you being the person that you need to be to achieve these things? And in a lot of areas, I'm being really real, the answer was no. So there's no way that I can have a business that produced a certain amount of money per month, or that gave me the freedom that I wanted to have if I didn't commit to being the person that would be able to keep these things up or achieve those things. So that was the first thing. And so developing habits and routines at a very basic level. And so me and the kids, we created routines for them, in the morning and the night, things that they need to do. I got really crafty, which is a huge thing for me, y'all, because I've always said that I'm not a crafter. Be careful what you say. I crafted some things for the boys, some routines, laminated them. Oh my gosh, I was on fire. And posted them in their bathroom. So every morning they have a little checklist that they can, click over to done. Once they brush their teeth, done. Once they, you know what I mean? So they have a system that they follow because I had to get them in order. And I had to get me in order. So I established routines, just basic for myself. I get up an hour earlier in the morning so that I can focus on my business. And then I've created business hours that are dedicated to my clients, communication, and projects. And then from 2:30 to 7:30 is all about the kids, right? So no business, no work, all about the kids. So I'll tell you about that system a little bit later, but what I want to really lock in and hone in with you is this: goal setting, habits, routines to support those goals and help you create. It's like the engine that helps you make it happen, that helps you move into the position that you want to move into. These are the things that are going to be critical and crucial for us this year as She Will entrepreneurs, as women entrepreneurs, webpreneurs with big ambitions and busy and complicated lives. This is the ticket. So I just wanted to lay that on you because there has been some amazing breakthroughs since I decided to shut my business down for 90 days and start putting these systems and tools and processes and routines in place that will build the good habits that I need to have built in order to achieve the amazing things that I'm looking to achieve this year. And so you can do this too. Now, if you're saying, Kenya, well, I can't shut down my business, I really want you to take some time to evaluate, is what you're doing right now getting you where you want? And if the answer is no, then you can only benefit from taking a break, right? From taking a break, or at least plotting out some time for you to evaluate some things and figure out those areas where you're weak and where you need to upgrade or up level, right? So 90 days might be too much for you. You don't have to start with 90 days. Maybe go dark for a week, right? And then maybe from the week, maybe you want to go dark for 30 days, right? So just kind of figure out what works for you, or schedule it into the future. Maybe you go dark every quarter. I mean, that's one of the things that I have planned for this year is to go dark every quarter for at least a week, every quarter. And I built that into my schedule so that I know I have time for strategic planning, for any content creation projects I need to do, product creation, that kind of stuff. If you don't schedule in the things that you need to get done in your life and business, it won't get done. If you don't schedule your goals, it won't get done. So I just wanted to share why I went dark for 90 days. Just give you a little bit of a sneak peek into the amazing turnaround it has been and blessing it has been in my life. And I have lots more to share with you. I promise it won't be this long, but really stay tuned and check in. Make sure if you're not already a part of my Action Mind community on Facebook, be sure to join me over there so that we can really support and encourage and uplift each other in these new skills that we're going to be learning to build. The Facebook group is going to be all about habits, routines, goals, and then we'll work that around all the other fun stuff that we need to implement in our lives and businesses to free ourselves to do more of what we love, live the life we want, and make the money we deserve. So I look forward to taking this journey with you. I hope you found some value in what I said. Just to recap on considering going dark for 30 days, here are 3 things that I think you should consider working on to create that new strategy and based on what I've learned. Number 1, commit to setting goals. Study it, learn it. If it's a mystery to you, embed yourself in it. Eat it, breathe it, drink it until you get it, until it clicks, right? Make goal setting a family affair. If you have a husband, if you have children, if you have other family members around you, if they're supportive and open, of course. Look for ways to include them into the process because this is legacy building, ladies. I mean, this is huge. This is something that you can leave your children, you can leave your family, right? And it's better than money because it's like, that saying, if you give a person A fish they can eat for a few days, but if you teach them the fish, they can eat for a lifetime, right? So at least that's how I think it goes. I screw these things up, but you know what I mean. Um, so yeah, so commit to setting the goal, make goal setting a family affair, and finally, establish routines that support you in achieving your goal. Work on the be, do, have principle, being who you need to be, doing the things that that person would do in order to have the things that you want to have. So consider going zero dark 90, zero dark 30, zero dark 7, whatever that feels or looks like for you. And then join me in the Facebook group for more good life changing business boosting stuff that I have to share with you going forward. All right, take care. And until next time, I wish you an abundance of success, joy, and freedom.